All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network. Now, if you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. Our website, yeah, you're right, xzoneradiotv.com. And for the X Zone TV channel that is exclusive to Simul TV, visit www.simultv.com. X Zone Nation, my guests this first hour of tonight's show are Nick and Mike. They're known as the Dream Team. And guys, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having us, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah,
good to be here.
Yeah, it's great having you guys. I was wondering if you could let our listeners know who you are, how you got into doing what you're doing, and let's get acquainted.
All right. Well, let's see here. Michael and I, we've been married for 25 years, and we met in a dream.
Ooh.
5 years before we met in the physical. Yes, we did. And that's how this whole thing got rolling.
And it was an unusual dream in the sense that at the time I was teaching college in Texas, and one night I had a very vivid dream, a very clear dream, lucid dreams they call them actually, and in the dream there was a girl and her name was Nicole, and she had brown eyes and brown hair, and when I woke from the dream, luckily I journaled it. It was about a page and a half long. And a few years went by, fast forward, maybe 3 years approximately, and who walks into my class, my sociology class that I was teaching at the college, but the dream girl, Nicole. And, I'd like to say that I remembered the dream, but I did not. 3 years, give me a break here. 3 years had passed. So go ahead, Nicole, give your side of the story there.
Yeah. So when I walked in, it was the first day of class, and Michael, the instructor, walked in. And the minute he walked in the classroom, upon seeing him, I knew he was my soulmate, and we were going to get married. And I even ran home and told my roommate.
Wow.
And Michael's 24 years older than me. Yes, Rob. So she thought I was nuts. And I waited till the semester ended, and then I asked him out, and we got engaged in 90. We were engaged in 90 days, and then married in 9 months, and here we are.
You see, marrying an older man is just like marrying a bottle of wine. We improve with age.
Absolutely. I'll second that.
I like that perspective.
Feel free to use, guys.
But the thing, Rob,
yeah.
is my intuition was telling me that this is the soulmate, and Michael had the dream that let him know. But here's how déjà vu is French, and it means having seen before.
Right.
And so he had a déjà vu. After we were married 2 years, I became a fitness trainer. And that's what triggered his déjà vu for his dream recall. And we still have the journal, actually, where he wrote the dream up. And I was even wearing a purple outfit, and I remember picking out that purple outfit to wear to school, just so I would be noticed.
And for me, you know, when I went back and found the dream in the journal, it literally changed my life, and it's why one of the original reasons, anyway, that we really got into dreams and signs and intuition, because I realized that they were prophetic. Dreams are not just. There's no such thing as just a dream. They're prophecies. They're ways to see what's coming, and ways that allow us to have insight where we're headed and possibly sidestep, any adversity, and so we don't get blindsided. We can use our dreams as guides, daily guides. So that's how it all began.
Let me ask you this. What is the physiology behind a dream? How does it work?
Well, actually, a dream is... St. Paul said it best, and the founder of Christianity, St. Paul, he said, we die daily. He called it dying daily. In other words, when we sleep, we dream, and when we dream, we literally leave the body in energy form. If you could say we leave in soul form. It's our higher self, but we leave in an energy form, and we travel during the dream. So what we're seeing in the dream is a travel log. When we awaken, we literally bring that travel log back with us. So we have a memory of a dream. That's where we've been in other dimensions. I mean, the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, seventh. There's even quantum physics has somewhat verified that they know there's 12 dimensions right now, and that's what a dream is. It's a quantum vibration at a slightly different level. It's like changing the remote on your TV. It puts you on a different channel, so you're on a different vibrational level when we're dreaming. Sometimes we're able to remember the dream, sometimes we can't. So it all depends.
What happens if a person doesn't dream?
Oh, Rob, everyone dreams every night, whether they remember them or not. And often people think that they don't, but that's simply because they don't recall. But every single person dreams, every soul dreams, even animals dream every night. Actually, we dream probably pretty much all night long.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much the minute you tap out, you start dreaming.
So when a person goes to sleep and they have a dream, a lot of dreams are symbolic. Do the symbols change for the person having the dream, or are the symbols the same for everyone?
Well, there's common dream themes, such as my teeth falling out. That's all about communication. Either you talk too much or you don't talk enough. But symbols are very special to the dreamer. If let's say we both dream of water, and I almost drowned a month ago, you love to water ski.
Okay.
Well, it means two very different things for us, for me and for you. So that's why it's germane to the dreamer, and dream dictionaries are not really good in that aspect. And the best way is to ask yourself, word association, quick word association to interpret any symbol.
It doesn't matter as to whether the dream is in black and white or in color?
Michael?
Yes and no. It doesn't really, but as we become more of a, I'd say, proficient dreamer, we get better at dreaming. Our dreams are extremely detailed and extremely colorful. And sometimes if they're in black and white, the fact that it's in black and white may be a message to us.
Sure.
The simple message would be, you're seeing things in black and white. You need to elaborate or expand on your perspective, so you start seeing the colors involved in your life. And dreams always pertain to what's going on in our life right now. I mean, they're a snapshot, and they can be a prophecy, but more importantly, they're directly related usually to what we're wondering about in our life. Should I engage in this financial transaction or buy this stock? Or should I keep dating this person? Are they the one? I mean, we constantly get that question from people like, how do I know they're the one? How do I know? Well, if you're asking the question, how do I know? Obviously, you don't know, because if you knew they were the one, your heart would be telling you they're the one.
Right.
You know, when you're in love, you know you're in love. You either know it or you don't. If you try to explain it to someone, they still don't get it. It's kind of like that, and it's that way with the dream. It's really giving us an insight as to what's going on in our daily life, and it's a guide more than anything else.
I've got about 30 seconds before I have to take our first break. Over the past 2 years, with all the social unrest, the COVID, as well as the uncertainty around the world, have you seen a change in the dream structures that people are having?
More nightmares.
Really, yeah?
Simply put, more nightmares, yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very accurate, Nicole. Actually, people are the fear. The fear is driving the negative dreams, and we call them nightmares.
All right, stand by, my friends. You and I have to take our first break. Exo Nation, our very special guests this hour, the Reverend Nick and Mike Sebastian. They're known as the Dream Team. They're psychologists and sociologists, authors, celebrity life coaches, and modern-day oracles. 2 websites, www.onesteptherapy.com and nevergetblindsidedagain.com. And we'll all be back on the other side of this short break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in beautiful Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Oh, and by the way, visit my friend's website, his radio station. Great station if you like rock and roll. www.classic1220.ca. That's Classic1220 CFAJ. And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. Reverend Nick and Mike Sebastian are my special guests this hour. They're the Dream Team, psychologists and sociologists, authors, celebrity life coaches, and modern-day oracles. The nightmares. Is it just what happens during the day that will incite a nightmare, or is it possible for someone to infiltrate our dream patterns who are not even involved with us? For example, I understand that the CIA and KGB were at one time working on a way to interrupt a dream pattern of somebody to actually give them a subliminal suggestion while they were sleeping.
Yes. Yes, many times over.
Wow.
It's because of the CIA and the KGB. And but the point is, people can come, this has been going on literally for thousands of years. Can we insert ourselves into other people's dreams? Can we influence them? Can we hurt them in some way, even in the dream state? And if you go back away, the shamans, ancient shamans, and even modern-day shamans, I've known a few, met a few, talked to them. They'll practice different. You could call it almost like voodoo or black magic.
Wow.
A negative form of infiltrating or affecting people, whereby we can, if we think real hard, the way it works, it's really simple, and we do it inadvertently when we're having very negative thoughts about other people for whatever, resentment, rage, maybe revenge, we want to get even, and we're thinking about them. Those thoughts are energy forms, literally. I mean, this is science, and it's a form of energy we can really measure, and it goes based on our projection, how strong we are, how focused we are. That energy goes out and impacts our target, and it can infiltrate, literally infiltrate their dreams, and it's kind of interesting because often some of our clients, people who come to us, they say, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm being attacked in my dreams, and I've had demon dreams, and I've had dreams of bad guys chasing me, wanting to kill me, and how can I protect myself?" And there is a form of protection that allows us to really become safe within the dream state and our waking state as well. Maybe, Nicole, you can give them the technique for that.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I did want to say, though, Rob, to answer your initial question, it's yes, nightmares are daily things that are going on with us, as well as, infiltration, if you will.
Right.
But no one can harm us unless we allow it. We have to be susceptible on some level. So I don't want your listeners to think that they need to, live in fear, because we certainly don't. If you have, a strong conviction about yourself, a strong concept of self, then typically these things won't happen to that person. But the technique Michael's talking about is called the HUE. We call it one-step therapy. Just say HUE. And it's a sound, and I'll give you a demo in a minute, but I wanted to elaborate on, well, let me give you the demo, and then I'll elaborate. Okay, it simply goes, you inhale, and on the exhale you say, HUE, H-U, HUE. And it comes from the word human, and it's in the Oxford English Dictionary. The word human actually means God within man, God-man, human. So it's also found in 14 religions and their sacred book, the word HUE, from the Masons all the way to the Hebrew version of the Bible. So it's got quite a history there, and it's based on quantum. It affects your central nervous system and strengthens you and protects you. So it's kind of it's a versatile, that's why we call it one-step therapy for anxiety or stress or nightmares, anger, rage, depression, this type of thing. Very effective.
How did you discover that?
And we use it with... Yeah. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just asking, how did you guys discover this? That's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. And honestly, we discovered it through the spiritual path called Eckankar. Eckankar. It's a modern day religion, but it's known as the path of spiritual freedom.
Oh, I like that.
And we mentioned 14 religions and spiritual paths that have used the HUE throughout, and it's in their sacred book. Eckankar happens to be the current one utilizing the HUE. The other paths, not so much anymore. From the Druids to the Christians to the Masons, etc. But Eckankar, that's how we found it, and then we did our own research. We even have a book called One Step Therapy, Just Say HUE, and doing all the research, which is why we know it's in the 14 different religions, and they used to HUE at the Sphinx every night in Egypt years ago as a society.
And the Sphinx used to be called, before it was called the Sphinx, it was called HUE, H-U. And, with the ancient Egyptians called it that, and then the Greeks came in and took overthrew the territory, and they didn't know what it was, so they called it Sphinx, which means unknown. But it's we like to use it with our clients a lot because it's good for anxiety and depression, or you got a major decision you want to make and you need to make it quickly. You can use the HUE as a toning technique to put you on a different channel. It opens up consciousness. It takes consciousness and expands it. And it does it simply through quantum physics. And by HUEing, we affect the molecular structure, our subatomic particles within us, and it changes the channel instantly. That's why when we HUE, it can heal us, or it can get rid of the depression or the anxiety or the problems.
And the protection.
And it's a form of protection,
It sounds like this is something that people in today's society really need.
Oh, they do. What we say, one technique, 4 ways to do it, no therapist required and no prescription needed. Boom.
And it's interesting. We often get, not often, but sometimes we'll get a call from someone who's not our client, but they found us because on the web or somewhere because they're desperate. And a veteran called us once, and an ex-veteran in military, and he was suicidal, literally ready to put a round through his head.
Oh, God.
And, what do you do for someone like that on the phone? So we gave him the Hue, and a few days went by, and he called back, and he said, oh, my God, as soon as I did it, I felt hope for the first time in a long time. It literally changes the vibrations within us that quickly. So we use it pretty consistently with just about everyone we meet.
I find that so amazing. And thank you for helping a person who went and put their life on the line for us, and I really don't believe that members of the military who have served do not get enough thanks. So from the people out there that you've helped, thank you. What are some of the amazing stories you've heard back from clients that you've helped using the Hue?
Well, let's see here. We've got a lot of testimonials right on the website, but I'm going to read a few right from the book. Now that I Hue before bed, when I wake up in the morning, the Xanax is still on the nightstand, the ashtray is still empty, and the Diet Coke is still unopened.
Now that says a lot.
So there you go. Yeah, really, it does. Because those are all like those things, since I'm an expert in addiction and worked in the field for 25 years, and those things are all our best friends, our little Xanax or our Diet Coke or, the television or this, that, or the other. And the Hue just short circuits those things. It changes you from the inside out. And Hueing has helped me get over that obsessive, oppressive, urgent, seemingly hopeless drive to kill myself and see other options.
Now, you mentioned...
The Hue cured my insomnia.
Really?
And allowed me to sleep, and as long as I could remember. Anyhow, back to you. Sorry, Rob.
It's all right, dear. You mentioned Diet Coke. Is Diet Coke an addiction because of the aspartame?
Well, it's two-sided, two-folded, if you will. Yes, the aspartame is highly addictive because even though, it's not actual sugar, it does trigger the insulin response.
Right.
I'm also a fitness trainer and nutrition expert. So yeah, I can speak on that way. But also, it's about having to fill the void with that thing. And once, anything can turn into a habit. Again, whether it's the coffee or the Diet Coke or turning on the TV the minute you walk in the house, So it's about changing behavior, really.
So I guess the idea would be not to maintain the same thing day in, day out, change your life around, and say Hue.
Yeah.
All right, my friends, we have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, our guests are the Reverend Nick and Mike Sebastian, and they've been married for 25 years. God bless them. They met in a dream years before meeting in physical, and used dreams, signs, and intuition to discern the message mission they were meant to deliver to the people for their higher awareness and empowerment. And that's what they're sharing with us tonight here on the X Zone. If you'd like more information or if you'd like to find out more about them, visit their websites. Let me see. The first one is onesteptherapy.com, and the second one is nevergetblindsidedagain.com. And we'll be back on the other side of this very short break as we continue here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
You and I travel to the beat of a different drum. How can't you tell by the way I run? Every time you make eyes at me, whoa, you cry and moan and say it will work out. But honey, child,
Welcome back. We have the Dream Team with us this hour here in the X Zone. Nick and Mike Sebastian, The Dream Team, psychologists, sociologists, authors, celebrity life coaches, and modern-day oracles. 2 websites, Exonation. The first one is One Step Therapy, and that's the number 1 in onesteptherapy.com. And the second one is nevergetblindsidedagain.com. First of all, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. And I understand you also have a modern-day mystery school.
Yes, we do.
Tell us about it.
It's so exciting. It's just my favorite thing. Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center. And, there's always been mystery schools throughout time. I mean, they were really big long ago, and now, you hardly hear about them at all. People aren't even aware that, it was such a thing. And it's really, it's practical and profound. We use all the tools that we use, the dreams and the signs and the intuition, and then with all of our credentials, we bring the wellness into it. The food and the fitness and the addiction and the psychology and the, and the books and the this and the that to make a well-rounded whole individual. And it doesn't matter if, if it's a therapy thing or if it's, a prophecy thing or, I need to make a decision. I need to get some, it's well-rounded and serves the people in this manner.
These things have been taught for a long time, like thousands of years. Plato had a mystery school, and Pythagoras had a mystery school, the mystery school of the Essenes. Supposedly, Jesus studied with the Essenes. They were a mystery school, and they really just taught the old ancient wisdoms of healing, and how to get answers looking within, rather than being constantly aware of the things that surround us, and we're kind of shut down at that point and not really getting that inner guidance. So there are tools and techniques for looking within and getting the answers quickly.
Yeah, we use the term trust yourself, and that's the biggie. It's like that's often the direction we give clients. Trust yourself, trust yourself. And hey, Rob, I just have to say,
sure,
you have the best picture on your website of you. You look like the happiest guy ever. That's a fabulous picture.
I am. That's who I am.
Yeah, I can tell.
We can tell.
Gosh.
I love life.
Yeah, you look good, Rob. You really do.
Thank you. I love life. Every day I get to talk for 4 hours to the most interesting people that you ever want to meet. And the entire reason for the show is to make a positive difference in one person's heart every 4 hours. If we make a difference in 2, hey, we're ecstatic. But this is what we've been doing for 32 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great mission. That's a great mission. No wonder you're happy.
Well, you know what? Because I've got people like you on the show who are sharing knowledge, I will bet you dollars to donuts, and I'm an ex-cop, I love donuts, that people for the first time are hearing about the word Hugh. And they're saying, wow.
Right.
So they're going to go to your websites. They're going to find out more about this. And you're going to be changing lives. In fact, I will bet people are going to your website as we speak right now, and you're changing lives. And that is fantastic thank you guys for doing that.
Hey, and it was about that intuition in Michael's dream early on that, the mission of trust yourself and bringing the ancient tools back to the people. These tools are innate. They're simple. They're free. You carry them with you 24/7, and the Hue is one-step therapy, and then one-step solution is dreams, signs, and intuition for a decision. Any question you want to know, should I get the vaccine? Is my deceased sister okay? Are aliens real? All your questions and how to know the future and make decisions you can use the one-step solution, which are dream, signs, and intuition. And for everything else, you use one-step therapy, which is the Hue. And voila, you have the entire package for every problem and every question you could ever have, and you will receive direct answers, direct guidance. That's why we call it Divine Guidance Institute. From your higher self, from above, and it's direct to you. So you don't need anything else, which is why we call it Trust Yourself. So.
And especially in these times, like you mentioned earlier, it couldn't. It could. I won't say it couldn't be any more negative. I don't want to burn bread because it could be, but it's gotten extremely strange in terms of the negativity and the manipulation and the things that people fear. I see.
Yes.
I'm a runner. I've been running for 40 years, and I run 3 to 5 miles a day, and
Wow.
sometimes in the park. And when I pass people now, when I look in their eyes, oh my God, the fear! I can see and feel. It's palpable. I can feel the fear, their fear, and who knows what their fear is? But everyone is reacting through fear now. So that's why our mission is to get the hue out there, because it immediately changes those vibrations from fear to vibrations of love. It really pushes it to the upper end, which is really the love vibrations that open our heart. And when we do that, the fear automatically dissipates or disappears.
Now, the hue, should this be taught to children?
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness,
Yeah.
yes. And it's interesting because in the sessions, sometimes the parents have their kids there and whatnot. Mm-hmm. The kids actually recognize it. They recognize the sound of hue because it's actually in the Bible. At the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And what was that Word? The Word was hue. So kids actually recognize hue from coming back in to the planet when they're born. So when you hue, it's like it's taking them home. They respond to it. They sleep better with it. They stop crying. I mean, it works for, the colicky kids and the bratty kids and you name it, and they latch onto it. Like McDonald's, the kids turn McDonald's onto the parents.
Yeah, McDonald's
we've had kids.
McDonald's is,
We've had kids
you deserve a
respond.
break today, and with you people, it's you deserve a break today.
There you go. I like that.
Mike, you were going to say something.
Yeah, the kids often will have 4-year-olds or 3, 4, and 5-year-olds will respond that they know the hue already. And that's because, how kids are really spontaneous and insightful when they're 4 and 5 years old, 3 years old, and they just say immediately, before you even have the question out, they say something. They kind of know it already. And that's because they're in touch with that inner self, more so than we are, because once we start getting schooled, go to school, get programmed, habits, traditions, routine, we get detached from that inner truth. But the kids already have it, so they really respond to the hue immediately.
Yeah, I've always said that the scholastic system is all screwed up, because what happens is, the school gets this little blank hard drive. And in the very beginning of school, you're taught nursery rhymes. Well, a cow jumps over the moon, a dish runs away with a spoon, this guy keeps his wife in a pumpkin, and this lady lives in a shoe with her 13 kids. And we bring our kids up to a world of total reality. And you've got the Easter Bunny, you've got the Sandman, you've got Santa Claus. And then as we bring them up to a very vulnerable age, what do? We say, we lied to you. That's all fantasy. Now let's talk reality. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Doesn't do much for the trust factor.
No, it doesn't.
It's kind of a cage. I've always seen it as a cage, and we felt compelled. I mean, I've never felt so compelled in my whole life as one of the books that Nicole and I co-authored was called Sociology of Soul. And it's really about how we're prisoners, literally, prisoners of the social system, and that we're in a cage of consciousness. And that occurs because, kind of like you were talking about, we're so programmed from the time we start school, and we're lied to mostly. And most of the myths are ones that have been created for a reason of controlling the people. And that's what's fed to us from day one. So it takes a long time to begin to question that or wake up, get that wake-up call. And that's one of the things that the hue does. If we start hewing just a few minutes every day, suddenly we begin to wake up like, oh my God, we look around and like, what have I been doing? Who am I? Isn't there something more? What's really going on? We start beginning to ask those questions that we need to ask to be fully conscious beings for the first time.
All right, guys, we've got to take our final break, so please stand by. X-Zone Nation, our guests this hour, the Reverend Nick and Mike Sebastian. Two websites, www.onesteptherapy.com, and that's the number one, steptherapy.com, and nevergetblindsidedagain.com. On the other side of this break, we wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Don't forget, for classic rock, classic talk, the newest and best radio station in Southern Ontario, in my opinion, because I know the people there, it's the best radio station in Canada. That's classic 1220 CFAJ.
Tell me when that breeze is blowing, taking me home to my town. When I think of you, Scotia, there's a love that just beats in my heart. In my childhood days, we went our different ways, but you knew that we'd never part. Now I'm all alone, and you're calling me home. You knew our love could never die, and though my roving eyes always led me astray, when I'm coming back home, Scotia, don't walk away. Bring the wind to.
And welcome back. Mick and Nick, our special guests, or Nick and Mick, I apologize, guys. Two websites, X-Zone Nation. The first one is onesteptherapy.com, and that's the number one, steptherapy.com. And the second one is nevergetblindsidedagain.com. Let me ask you something. This question's to both of you. How is the mass amount of information that people are getting each and every day, 24 hours a day, affecting society?
Michael?
That's an interesting question. May you have an interesting life, like the Asians say. It is and it's an individual take on this. As a sociologist, but also a scientist, and as a dream person, it's impacting everyone in a very negative sense, because we're so overloaded with the amount of information coming in that we can't distill the truth within. It's like noise, like white noise is really, really loud. And it's been greatly exacerbated by the technology. I mean, you go back a way and everyone thought when TVs came in that it was the salvation, that it was going to connect the world.
Right.
It would connect. I wrote my master's thesis on the TV and how it connected the world, began to. But what happened with all the iPhones and the TVs and the laptops and the different technologies that have come in is that people are constantly disconnected. That's the word that I would use, and that has to do with your question, the amount of information. They can't process it, and they have no tools and techniques for doing so. So they're kind of like lost. I can feel it, and I can see it in their eyes every day. They're lost in the wilderness, and they don't know what to do. Nick, you want to?
Well, I would say, yeah, all that is true. However, you don't have to be affected by it at all, honestly. Michael and I, we don't do the newspapers and we don't do the news, and we don't stay away from it intentionally. We just have no desire or interest. We go within, we get our information from the inner, we get what's necessary, and I trust that the universe is going to give me exactly what I need at all times. And if I need to look into something, then I do. And so it's about having discernment, because there is so much information and misinformation. So, that hue, I can't say it enough for the listeners, that hue will really help insulate, protect, guide, offer discernment, and they can do it 1 minute up to 20 minutes a day, that's all, and you can do it out loud or silently. And again, you just inhale and hue on the exhale and repeat. And me, I just lay down and do a few hues, and before I know it, I've drifted off. And getting some guidance on the inner that way. So yeah.
It's kind of when I talk to people and they're asking me different questions too, and our mantra is trust yourself, and really, it's I tell them to do, because they're overloaded with what's coming in with the information. They can't handle it, and they're living in fear and depression, anxiety. It goes on, and basically what I recommend to them is do your homework. Do not listen to anyone for the answer. I don't care if it's the president or Scooby-Doo. Do your research. In other words, go on the net, do what you need to do. You find the answer. Do your own research, and then take it into contemplation with the one-step therapy. Just, when you lay down in bed at night after you've done the research, simply ask the question, I wonder, what the solution is, and you write it down. It's good to journal also. One-step solution.
Ouch. Have you people ever thought of doing a National Hue Day, where you get people from around the world at a specific time in each zone to do a minute hue? Getting millions of people to do a hue.
Well, I think it's a good goal, and I think we can thank you for that. That's fabulous. First off, we got to teach them about the hue and how to hue. Then I think we can work on the day to hue. Absolutely. That's a great idea, Rob.
Actually, we're going to run with that idea, and we will give you credit for it. And say, Rob told us to do this, all right?
Yeah.
No, that's really a good idea.
Yeah,
and we're in the process right now of doing something, coming out in a direction that's going to really approach what you just said. Yes.
There's Monday, excellent. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Hue Day now.
Right on.
The courses that you give through your Ancient School of Mystery, how long do they take? Are they done online?
Well, that's the cool thing. You can have sessions with us, or you do it yourself. That's why we've got all of our books, we've got our free newsletter, and then you've got us. So whatever, it depends on someone's comfort zone and where they live and their financial situation and all of this. We've got, hard copy books and e-books and do-it-yourself, that version, and like I said, Michael and I. And actually, some people are with us for one session because really that is all you need. We have such breakthroughs in one session. It is unbelievable, Rob. And then they go and they're good. And then some people, they want to have ongoing sessions and to really fine-tune and hone their skills. The intuition, the dreams, the signs and messages and prophecy and all of that, and on the outer and the inner. And so, it really depends on the person, but, well-rounded.
Let me ask you both. You've been dealing with people over the years. You're both very well known. You're both highly accredited. Is society going to finally catch on, and are we going to get things to work in a much more positive way?
Well, it is the Kali Yuga, Rob. So it's dark, it's that dark time, and it's not going back. However, we can have a mini golden age within the dark, within the Kali Yuga. And honestly, here we go back to the hue again, but it is the truth. If people start hewing, it's going to uplift things and change things. So it can happen.
It's It actually abides by a spiritual law. A lot of people are not familiar with what the spiritual laws are, but they undergird everything. They're the superstructure. And one of them is called the law of polarity. In other words, what goes up must come down,
Right.
Dark and light, black and white. Everything has an opposite. So although we're going to experience breakthroughs in ways we never did before, like expanded consciousness, being aware of other dimensions, doing things that we thought we never could before. At the same time, like Nicole mentioned, things are going to get darker. So with the expanding light will come the pushback of almost equivalent darkness. So it's going to be both. It's going to be like we're living in two different worlds, and what's going to determine the world for each of us is our own individual consciousness. You know, what are we doing on a daily basis to remain balanced, to remain stable? So I think it's going to break out that way.
All right, I'm going to let Nicole have the final minute here. Nicole, what would you like to share with the world tonight? You've got 1 minute.
Just say Hugh and trust yourself. Use dream signs and intuition to get any answer that you need. And, there you go. That would be about it.
Tell our listeners where they can find out more about both of you.
Okay. NeverGetBlindsidedAgain.com or OneStepTherapy.com. And you can use the number 1 or you can spell the word 1. Both will get you there. And do it yourself with our books, a free newsletter, sign up, or shoot us an email. You know, we're readily available.
All right,
I love to hear from people.
All right, I want to thank both of you for joining us tonight. Always a pleasure talking to you, and I hope that we have the opportunity of speaking to you again in the future.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
so
Rob.
much.
It's always fun, Rob.
Take care, folks.
Take
Be
care.
safe. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right, Exo Nation, that was Mick and Mike, the Sebastians, talking about dreams and a lot more. Visit their websites. Craig, what are the websites again? You took the sheet away from me, you son of a gun. All right, hold on, Exo Nation. Sorry about this. Oh, here we are. OneStepTherapy.com. That's either the number 1 or the word 1, StepTherapy.com. And the second one is NeverGetBlindsidedAgain.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
My time. Tell me when that breeze is blowing. Take